Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. So I picked up this Squier today and it's got an interesting problem that's not all that uncommon. So this quick tip video is going to be about how do you fix a broken off tremolo arm in a Stratocaster tremolo. So what can cause a broken off tremolo? Well, oftentimes that's caused from using the wrong size tremolo arm in the hole. It can just happen if you're just crazy with your tremolo arm and pulling up and down a little bit too hard, especially up. First things first, we got to take the strings off. We're also going to have to take off the back plate. With the back plate off and the strings removed, go ahead and remove the springs on the back of your tremolo. And then turn the guitar over. If you have the two-post type of tremolo, the tremolo might just come out at this point. But if you have the screws that go through the base plate, you're going to have to take those out. So with the screws out, you can completely remove the tremolo. So with the tremolo out, you can see the broken off arm in the hole. It's too low to get to it, but let's take the base plate off and see how much of that post is left behind. We might be able to get it out with a set of pliers. By the way, as you're taking these off, keep them in order so you can put them back on in the same order, and then you might not have to readjust your saddle height. With the saddles removed, you have access to the 3 screws that hold your block to the base plate. Now some people may comment that I don't have to totally remove the saddles to get at these screws, and sometimes that's true. It just depends on your saddles. Sometimes you can pick them up, turn them to the side, and gain enough access to the screws to get this base plate off. But I'm showing you this because this method provides the best view of the screws underneath. Okay, well unfortunately ours is broken off a little bit deeper than the level of the face of this block. If it was higher, you could just grab a pair of pliers and try to twist it out that way. But this one is sunken in deep, so I think we're going to have to use a different method. So the first step you're going to have to do in order to get this out is to center punch the middle of the post that's left over inside that hole. So that involves taking a center punch of some sort. You know, you can use a fancier one than this. This is pretty basic, but it's essentially kind of like a nail on the end. And you want to put that right in the center of the post and hammer it in just to make a divot on the end. Now you should be left with a divot right in the center of your post. Now the next thing you're going to need is a set of left-hand drill bits, and these don't really mean they're for left-handed people. It means that the cutting surface is oriented in the opposite direction of a normal drill bit. So your drill needs to spin in reverse to actually drill into a surface with these bits. That action in itself will often cause that screw to come right out. So in terms of placement, place the drill right into that divot that you made with the center punch and start drilling in reverse. Something else you can try if it doesn't come out immediately is putting a little bit of penetrating oil in the hole and letting that sit for a while. If the left-handed drill bit does not work, you might need to invest in a tool called a screw extractor. And a screw extractor is also left-hand threaded, and it's kind of cone-shaped so that you can drive it into the hole and it will stick. And then you can turn the screw out with a open-end wrench or a tap handle. So ultimately, the left-hand drill and the easy out and the penetrating oil and all those tricks may actually not work, and that's what happened to me today. I actually couldn't get that little piece out of the other block. Replacement blocks aren't that hard to come by, and you can even find them in a full-width brass version that will actually improve your tone a little bit and give you a little bit of an upgrade in the process. So I'm just going to reassemble this tremolo in the reverse order that I took it apart. So with reassembly complete, just make sure that your armhole lines up with the previous armhole if you've changed your block. So reinstall the 6 screws that go across the top here, and you might be wondering how tight to tighten those when you reinstall them. Basically, you keep the back of the tremolo in place, screw them down tight to the face of the base plate, just touching, and then back them off about 1/4 to 1/2 of a turn. When you're finished, just check that your tremolo moves freely. Then we're going to turn it over and do the springs. It's usually best to install Stratocaster springs straight across instead of in the V pattern that was on this tremolo before. So that's what I'm going to do during reinstallation. Okay, well that's the entire repair. Now what you're going to have to do from here is readjust your intonation if you removed your saddles. Also adjust your saddle height if you mixed up your saddles. And then finally, you're going to want to check your spring tension, and that's going to require you to install springs first. So I've got some quick tip videos on some of these things, and you might want to look into my archives, but there's plenty of resources out there on setting up a tremolo. And basically what you've done now is kind of replaced your tremolo, so you're going to want to start from scratch. Thanks a lot for viewing this video, and I appreciate when you guys like and comment. I'm sorry I wasn't able to extract that screw today, but that's the brakes. So I'll see you next time.